Okay, so this next PowerPoint we have to show you is about the signs of self-advocacy and self-advocacy. Okay, so what model are you driving? In other words, what is your disability? What are you working with? Did you know that you have a disability? Do you guys know what your disability is? Are you guys able to explain what your disability is? How does your disability affect your life, guys? How does it affect you in school? How does it affect with your friends? How does it affect your self-image? And what are your supports? Do you use your family, your friends, your teachers? So how does having a disability affect your relationship with your friends?
If I'm inviting a new friend somewhere, say I'm like, I want to go hang out with this new person I met, I will choose an activity where I don't need any of their help at all on purpose. Because I want them to understand that I can be a typical friend, okay? So they don't get kind of nervous or apprehensive about what I'm doing. But then as time goes on and we continue to hang out, I'll let them see some of the things that I struggle with. I'll let them help me out because now we're closer friends. So there truly is for me, and this is as a person who is, I guess, an advocate, I still am apprehensive about the friends that I choose because of my disability. And dating is the same way. If I go out on a date, I'm like, look, we're not going to do something where you need to help me out. We're not going to go like rock climbing on a first date, okay? That's probably not good. Maybe dinner and a movie, you know, I mean, stuff like that. But I'm just saying, like, there's certain things that I will not do with new friends. And as I realize that they are cool with me and who I am and they learn more, we'll go do more stuff and I'll try new stuff with them.
But I mean, even for me, I pick certain foods that I know I can eat and not look ridiculous eating. If I don't know the person very well, I need to know that they see me and not my disability. You just really referred to it well. And it's not a bad thing. I think that we meet some strange people, but we meet some amazing friends that, you know, are awesome. And I don't, as I've said over and over, my friends are a great support network like these people up here. They, you know, my friends with disabilities, without disabilities, maybe you wouldn't understand what I'm going through. And so I personally choose to have a lot of friends with disabilities. Not everybody does, and that's fine. But I think that there is a benefit of walking into a group and knowing yourself, knowing what you need, and knowing how your disability may affect your relationship.
I don't go up to a person and say, hi, my name's Rachel, I have a learning disability. I take them through the friend zone, and they need to pass that test before I even disclose it to them. Because if I don't, I can get, like, I can feel, what's the word? Vulnerable. Vulnerable. Very easily. I know, like, a lot of my friends thought I was like this, like, I had this wall up, I was this hard person, like, I was just, you know, not the great, like, I was a nice person once you got to know me, but at first I kind of put up this wall because I didn't want to get in a position where I was going to be vulnerable, and that did not come out vulnerable. Or vulnerable, but I didn't want to get into a spot where they were going to make me read, or they were going to put me in a position, or they were going to look at me different. I can hide mine. Ev can't hide his. So he know. I know. You can't mask it. Just put a grocery bag over top of it. It'll be fine. But that's one thing that you said is that you don't like to disclose. You don't like to really talk about it, or not talk about it, but tell people, because they're gonna. Some 9 times out of 10, when you tell them, they're either gonna be like, "That's awesome," or they're gonna be like, "Oh, check that." But for me, it takes a process, and I gotta, like, put you through the ringer before I'm comfortable being like, okay, this is the problem I got. I'm gonna tell you how I need the help, and then. So they've been through a process, Beef Stick, and you worked, and you got it. It's okay, Chris, you got this.
So how does your disability impact your future plans? How could your disability affect going on to college, other training such as jobs? How could your disability affect getting a job? How could your disability affect being independent, and what can you do to get ready? Staying positive. Know your strengths and weaknesses. We just talked about that. Know what you can do, know what you can't do. And as Rachel said, it shouldn't always be a can't, it should always be a can, but there are some things that you literally will not be able to do. And understand that, and don't get upset over it. Just realize, okay, I can't do that, it's okay. Get educated about your disability. Look it up, research it. Tell your friends about it, tell your family, tell your teachers, tell your professors and your bosses. This means knowing how to explain your disability and what accommodations you will need. So knowing what you want, your disability should not hold you back in any way from any of your dreams. You're the one that is in charge of your dreams. You know yourself better than anyone. And it is up to you to get educated about your disability and the things you need to succeed. What's under the hood? In case you guys couldn't tell, the theme of this PowerPoint is cars. Okay, so what's under the hood? The muscle car. Ute, it was supposed to be your. It wouldn't let me fix it. So finding your strengths. What are you good at? What do you like to do? What classes are the easiest for you? And what do other people say that you are good at? Weaknesses. Areas that may be more difficult for you. This is actually a photo of Rachel. Okay. Souping up the engine. Getting what you need to perform your best. This is Josie's dream scooter. Okay, guys. It's a BMW, I know, as I said. Dream scooter. Okay, now, lovely Rachel.
But what are accommodations? Accommodations can be down to the littlest thing, like I need bigger print. Or maybe that's not a little thing. Some people, that's not a little thing. That's a major thing. But also there's the little thing called a ramp. Ev needs a ramp, and apparently the one here at the hotel is awesome. Right?
Actually, it's really long.
Apparently it's really long. But that's a necessity. That's an accommodation. That's an accommodation that they need. I need probably help with reading, and I might need you to help me spell something because I don't always spell the greatest. And by the way, I did catch that error. That was all me. I caught that error. I thought I was pretty cool that day. But so accommodations aren't, there's a wide range of accommodations, and everybody's accommodations are different. Nobody has the exact same, I need this and this and this. Nobody has the exact same list that they need. And sometimes your list is really short, and sometimes it's really long. But that's what you need to get through a daily day or to do your best. It's what you need. So some examples for a physical disability is a ramp, accessible restrooms. Like the restrooms that are on the either side of this wing of this hotel right now, or outside these doors, aren't necessarily accessible. So there is a sign saying accessible that way. And that's an accommodation that Ev needs to know before he gets himself into that bathroom and can't get himself back out. And here you can also see there's every disability has some form of accommodations. And they're all different. And sometimes I love me some ramps, okay? I'd rather go up a ramp than a step because my, gracefulness that I have is not so graceful at times, and I will faceplant. So me having a ramp is a really good accommodation. I don't necessarily need it, but it's awesome to have. And we also, you can swap through all these. Not because you have a visual impairment does not mean you can't steal anything from a learning disability accommodation. You need what you need, and you know yourself better than anybody else.
Corey and I are a good example, right? Because we have the same disability and stuff, but he is completely different than I am. And his accommodations are probably different than me. We could probably talk about, similar things that happen, like about motor skills and all the other stuff and how it really sucks, tie your shoes and, button a shirt and do a tie. Yeah, look, he knows, okay? But we're different, even though we have exactly the same, we're diagnosed with the same thing.
But there's also a way to accommodate just me in general. I love having a schedule. Some of you guys in the audience may not be the best organizers, but there's a way to accommodate that, right? There's dividers. I love dividers. I love dividers, sticky notes, different colored pens, any school supplies. I love them. But that's how I accommodate my dysfunction at times. I keep myself organized. I got my planner. I have written down on what date, what happens, and I'm good. Learning time management. It's hard sometimes. I get sucked into TV. How many of you guys get sucked into TV if there's a show on you really like and it's a marathon and you just get lost in it? I'm a sucker for some marathons, and I will just get sucked into them. But I know I have other stuff to do, and I know I need to turn off that TV and get to them. But at times it's really hard, Criminal Minds is on, you're just like, oh gosh, I just want to watch it. And at times I'm like, okay, I can do this and this at the same time. I'm really good at multitasking. Some people aren't, but I'm really good at multitasking. I can attest to that. I can chew gum, type, and not very well. I can type it. It might not be spelled right. But I can type, chew gum, and have a conversation at the exact same time. And be baking a cake and icing it at the same time. One finger's typing, one people's icing. So I can multitask really well. But then at times, too many things on the plate, it just crumbles. Also, finding ways you learn. I'm really good at hearing it versus reading it and visually. If there's something you want me to know, you need to show it to me. That's why I really don't understand how a motor works. I can't really know how a motor works because you can't really take it apart and make it work at the exact same time. You can't do it. So my boyfriend will be like, yeah, the fuel injector's sending fuel into this component, and then this one's spraying this, and then this one's doing this. And I'm just like, I got no idea because I can't physically touch it, and I can't see when it's happening. You can do a computer model of it, but it's not the actual real thing. But he gets it. I don't understand how, but he does. And also asking your peers and your professors for help. At times, if you haven't disclosed it and you're not comfortable with that person yet, to be like, hey, I need some help. I laugh it off. I go, I'm having a brain fart today. How do you spell this? And I kind of laugh it off. A lot of people I work with at the daycare don't know I have some form of a disability because I just laugh it off. I make a joke of it, or I make it so minute that they don't even know it's really a problem. I'm really having a problem because I'm writing the kids' lunches. How do you spell peas again? Is it this way? I'm like, I'm having a brain fart today, and I'll just laugh it off now and make a big deal about it. But to me, that's a big deal. I need help spelling how to spell peas for that day because I can't remember if it's A-E, A-E-L, or whatever because things are just getting messed up. So even having that comfort zone of just being able just to ask nonchalantly, that's something I can hide, but yet get my accommodations needed. But now, if Ev needs a ramp, he really can't be like, oh, man, there's steps there, and, laugh it off. That's something that he's really going to need, is that ramp to get up to, the accessible entrance, because those stairs aren't going to work for him. And discussing the best time and place for you to study. I know sitting in a computer lab with 50 million people typing at the exact same time is not a place for me to study. Because I will be like, I wonder what they're typing about. I wonder what they're looking up on Facebook. Oh, what about Facebook right now? And then I'll get distracted. So if I'm sitting in my bed, I can't sit at a desk either because then I'll be like, oh, I'm going to organize my pens. I'm going to check if this one writes. So I know that me sitting on my bed with all my materials out on my bed and by myself is a good place to study. I was discussing with a couple of you guys yesterday after the session ended. I was talking to a couple of you about how I what was it? I thought of it and I lost it.
Oh, it's gone.
Oh, it's gone. It's gone. But there's different ways that you can accommodate yourself and not just your disability.